Okay, this is part five. I think it's about time to wrap up this subject to as good well as I can wrap it up. The final thing I wanted to discuss with this movie, like I said, the series by uh, oh, holy crap. Anyway, the series I linked to the series by Green on is much Ernest Green. Is much better than anything I can say about the details of this thing. He gets into a lot of detail, especially if true, making the claim, and it appears to be true from other things I've read, that this series didn't actually like how to put it. They were at a porn convention. They deliberately avoided talking to pro pornography people, and I understand they're trying to make a film about this, but the claim by Ching Sun, I think, is extremely. I don't know. I don't know that it's entirely honest. Where she claims that she went into this documentary. Same thing with Robert Jensen. No, wait. I'm sorry. Maybe it wasn't Robert Jensen. I'll take that back because I have to verify that. But Ching Sun went into this documentary supposedly, following the evidence wherever it leads, not approaching with a bias, trying to look at it objectively. That was the claim that was made. And, well, it's very clear, if you wanted to do that, you would talk to... Nina Hartley is one example of a very outspoken pro-pornography feminist. In fact, she's actually a really... I like her a lot. Just as a person, I think I love her writings. I love her little documentaries she makes and things like that. She's really, really cool. But anyway, that being said, they didn't talk to her at all, and she tried to talk to them. Another one, who was it? Angel. Anyway, Joanna Angel was talking about how like a 2-hour plus interview was cut down to like a little 30-second clip that made her look bad, and she actually was crying because it made her look. She said, "Do I really look that stupid?" When she had thought when she had given a long thing about the pros of the pornography industry, none of that made it to the final thing. So right there, that's a bias. And again, as I said in the first parts, throughout this thing, they have every right to make a biased documentary. I'm not knocking their right to do that. I just, when it comes down to when you want to start taking it as factual, you really have to question some of these things. But what I want to sort of get at in this part, and this is, again, maybe I'm inviting undue heat for that, for what I'm about to... Because when I first started making the series, and I had watched it once, I've now watched it, probably 4 times now all the way through, and then certain parts of it more than that, just in trying to get a really good feel for it. My first idea was that this being such a biased source, and given that it's simply not going to convince anybody of its, meaning nobody's out there watching this documentary who loves pornography and is going to look at it and go, I had no idea they came on women's faces in pornography. I'm going to quit watching it now. That's not going to happen. The people that don't like porn are going to watch it and say, "Yep, that's what I thought. Exactly why I hate porn." So I thought, so some people, like creation scientists is another. I keep bringing them up, but they often will write books or produce material that's simply ego stroking for the already convinced, and it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that as a negative. I'm sorry when I say ego stroking. That sounds negative, and I shouldn't have said it that way. Meaning, it's for somebody who already believes it to be true. They can watch it, have their beliefs confirmed, strengthened, whatever. And that's what was my assumption that this was about. I thought this must be for the already convinced, because who else is it for? It can't be for the it can't be for pro porn people. I thought, well, maybe they're producing it for people that don't have an opinion either way. Although I think you would have a hard time with that, unless you have people who watch porn, are a little guilty about it, and this will just make sure they never touch it again. Maybe that's part of the target. But the idea hit me when I was watching it this last time, or at least watching part of it, listening to Gail Dines talking, and then seeing some of the scenes and discussions they were talking about, and I thought, who else could this be for? Who could this documentary be for? And I thought, is it possible that this one of, at least, if not a target for this documentary. Think about this: anti-porn fundamentalist Christians. Now you think, why would a bunch of feminists who are very much opposed to fundamentalist, or on the opposite side of every other issue with fundamentalist Christians, be making a video thinking that these people might be watching it? And you think, what if, like I said, these are we're talking liberals here. I'm a liberal myself. These people, censorship is as bad a word as, well, pornography to them. No censorship allowed. They don't want to ban things. They don't even want to tell people how to think, right? People should think for themselves. That's the line. But if you can get a bunch of, well, fundamentalist Christians pissed off, get them parading down to your local video store, watch, and so just for fun, I did a Google search on the price of pleasure in quotes, and then, church group, church screening, church whatever, and, whether or not, it doesn't prove my point, I'm not saying it does, but it was honestly shown in a whole lot of church basements. How interesting is that? So even though it's kind of a little bit lewd and has profanity in it, this was seen by a lot of Christian organizations, or at least it was shown in a lot of Christian groups. So it makes you wonder. In other words, let's get these inbreds to go do our dirty work for us. Maybe let them go burn the pornography and whatever, and then when they finally succeed and it's all taken off the shelves and gone because of this moral indignation of the Christian, then the anti-porn feminists and other anti-porn secular groups can sit back and go, oh, censorship was so terrible, we didn't want to see it banned. And maybe I'm reading too much into it. Don't listen to a word I say, okay? I'm just throwing out ideas, okay? I'm just saying one possible thing. I mean, watch the documentary and just picture yourself, try to take in the viewpoint of, a minister who's trying to get his flock riled up, angry about this subject, and I think they would forgive the F words and the cum shots, to let their flock see this. I can really easily see that happening. Saying, well, we know it's a little dirty, but you need to see the horror that's out there. This is your children. Anyway, so that could maybe I'm wrong on that, but I wanted to finish this up with this point that I think the filmmakers hate the victims, they call them, of pornography, meaning the women forced into it, seemingly worse than any of the pornographers that they showed. And you might say, that doesn't make any sense. How is that? Well, by this point, this is one of the greatest crimes that you can do, in my opinion, against somebody, is to it's the word patronizing. Maybe I should get a dictionary. But when you fundamentally believe or treat another human being as if their thoughts and opinions don't matter because there's something broken or something wrong about them, to me, that's got to be one of the nastiest things that you can do to a person. It's disgusting. It's why I hate organized religion for the most part. It's why I hate lots of groups that do that to people. These people are saying to these women that are in porn, this is this disgusting male hate porn culture thing that's being done to you that you have no control over. And if a woman says, well, I actually kind of enjoy it, well, then that's only because you've been brainwashed. Because you're too stupid, too fucking brainwashed to know any better. To know that this is evil, that this needs to be stopped. You aren't capable of making your own decisions in your life. You have to think like me, and if you don't think like me, it's because you're broken. And it's not your fault you're broken. You're just a weak, basically, you're a weak woman. And that's what the filmmakers are really saying about these people. They are taking it, to me, how is it not misogynistic? How is that not to tell somebody you don't have the right to choose this industry because we think, we don't think, we know it's degrading to you, it's making you less of a person, and if you don't know that, you're broken somehow. You're damaged somehow. You're not intelligent enough to see this. So anyway, I guess that's it. That's my final thing on it. Again, take it with a grain of salt. Watch the documentary yourself. Check out the links. I'll put links up to this Ernest Green's articles on it. You got, Anyway, make up your minds. Thanks.